Good morning and good afternoon to some, depending on where you are. So, before I get started, let me know where you guys are watching from. Greetings, Jamie, I see you. I want to make sure my computer is on so that I can see. Hey, Vanessa. Give some people time to kind of get on here. I'm going to start really soon because I got things to do, as usual. So, welcome. Hey, from Detroit. Greetings. So, as you can see, the title of this video is about body types and the best way to eat. I've seen my poll in there. You can see my poll in my living room. So, as you see from the title, best way to eat for weight loss, and it says body type diets. So let me start off with the proper introduction. You guys know me as Beauty Cut Right. My name is Nakia. Welcome to the 30-day challenge. All of those of you who have sent in photos and I've responded to you, welcome. If you have not done that or entered into the challenge, you still have time to do so. This is a free thing that I'm doing for everybody, so it doesn't matter when you get started. Our idea is to continue, so you're going to be learning a lot of things along the way for this 30-day challenge, and with the hopes of losing some weight in the process. We're not focusing on the scale. We're actually focusing on how our body looks and changing the way our lifestyle is so that it's continuous, so you will continue to lose the weight and be able to maintain it, not just stop where you are after you've made the goal that you're at. We want to do more. So, welcome to the 30-day challenge. Welcome to this video. I want to send a shout out to pretty much all of you who have convinced me to stay on YouTube, because I was going to kind of stop this particular channel because it just seems like there's so much saturation about fitness, but a lot of people told me I should stick on because it just gave me a little bit of motivation. So sometimes I need the motivation too. I do this myself for a living. It's my lifestyle, but sharing it is an awesome thing. So I have notes because my favorite thing is taking the most complicated information and simplifying it. So that's what I'm going to do in this today. So I'm going to simplify the information. So first things first, if you do not know your body type, I have links down below this video. You can check that out after, but you need to know your body type in order to understand these very simple rules when it comes to eating and losing weight, and also maintaining it as well. But I know everybody's focus first is losing the weight and trying to get their bodies to look a certain way. So you need to know your body type. I do have a link to that on my website. It's accessible to everybody, so all you have to do is go there and you'll find out all the information you need to know. There is a test that you can take. It's a quiz per se. It asks you a few questions to see exactly what your body type is, and it gives you some information on what works best for your particular body type. Now, I am aware that some people are going to be what we call a combination of two, so that's fine. We'll talk about which one you should focus on in just a second, but definitely when you go to the website, it's right there. You'll take the test. It's complementsofbodybuilding.com, so that you are able to answer the questions. I want you guys to answer that question based off what you remember yourself looking like in your late teens. I'll say somewhere around the age of 16 to 25. That kind of gives you your idea of what your body type is. I know that some people think they're a certain body type because they're looking at where they are at now at an overweight stage, and you may actually be more of one than the other. So we'll talk about that. So the three types of body types, there's ectomorph. We know they usually are tall, lanky, thin, hard to gain weight, whether it's muscle or body fat. It is possible for them to gain weight, but the look is a little bit different. Most of the time, the excess body fat is localized right in the abdomen region. And that's for most people. If we're overweight, we're going to have a lot of excess body fat in our waistline first. So that's your ectomorph. Your endomorph is your second body type. People want to say they're the third body type, but most people think they're endomorphs. So endomorphs tend to gain a lot of weight below the belt. Not saying that the waistline isn't included, because the waistline is included in all body types. When you have excess body fat, like I just said, everybody gains it along their waistline, because that's where your vital organs are, and especially your digestive system, your intestinal tract, all of that is involved. So fat is localized in that area to protect liver, kidneys. You guys get it. So an endomorph tends to gain a lot of body fat below the belt. Belly fat and legs, hips, glutes, sometimes calves, our ankles are a lot bigger than they want them to be. That's an endomorph. They tend to be very small build at the top, not very heavy chested, you know, very soft shoulders. They're rounder and softer in appearance even when they are fit. So that's an endomorph. Mesomorphs tend to look muscular. They gain body fat and lose it. Well, let's say gain body fat and gain muscle very easy. An endomorph, they gain muscle very easy. They gain fat very easy. The problem with an endomorph is losing it is a lot harder than it is for a mesomorph. We can lose body fat typically a little bit faster. And I'm saying we because I know I identify more so as a mesomorph. So they tend to be very wide, broad shoulders, slimmer hips. Sometimes they can have the hourglass appearance, but they tend to have a smaller waist when they are fit. When we're overweight, we tend to gain a lot of upper body. We have way more upper body excess body fat above the belt. That doesn't mean we don't have it below the belt either. If you have it evenly top and bottom, that means you are a hourglass mesomorph. So keep that in mind. It's just the hourglass mesomorph. So broad shoulders, broad hips, gain excess body fat top and bottom. More than likely you are a mesomorph. But typically a mesomorph, their excess body fat is waistline, heavy boobs, heavy arms, heavy top half. It just gets that way. So those are your three body types. So let's simplify the best diets for each body type. And I'm going to go back in that order, and then once I describe what they are, you can go back through this video and write them down specifically to your body type. And then notice that down below I have links to the weight loss programs that are specific to those body types. And these are the diet styles that work best for these body types. So let's talk about the ectomorph. Remember, ectomorph has a hard time gaining muscle. They have a hard time gaining fat. That doesn't mean they don't become overweight after a particular age. Sometimes that happens because of metabolic damage or slowing metabolism, depending on how their diet has been most of their lives. But they tend to have to deal with a whole foods diet. That diet works for everybody. But they have to have higher amounts of carbohydrates than the other two body types. So when someone says that they can eat a lot and not gain any weight, that is true. But if they really want to gain the muscle that they want to look a little bit more toned and more shapely and more full out, they need more carbohydrates, and it's better to have clean whole foods. So this is what I got it all written down right here, all three body types. So they need 2 times more carbohydrates than a mesomorph. They have to have high volumes of food, so their caloric intake needs to be higher. And they should focus on whole foods, not junk foods. Remember, you are what you eat. So if you want to be heavy, sloppy heavy, eat bad foods. If you want to be shapely, toned heavy, then eat the right foods. Eat whole foods. Good proteins, good vegetables, good fats, good carbohydrates. You get the idea. One extra tip for an ectomorph, if this is predominantly you, less cardio, more weight training. And not sporadic weight training, a very focused weight training program. Heavy or high, I prefer, I'm just saying this from my opinion. I know it works because my brother is actually an ecto-meso. So, you know, gaining muscle is a little bit, can be hard for him. So weight training, cardio can't even be said, but you do need cardio for your health purposes. So less cardio, more weight training, no sporadic weight training, focus on heavy weightlifting. So when I mean heavy weightlifting, make sure it's very heavy. No, I want to say very heavy, but it's comfortable, heavy enough that it's challenging enough for you that you can do at least 5 to 8 reps, 5 sets. Think of it that way. Low weights, high volume, like when I mean high reps, 20 to 50, that's like almost like cardio. Stop it. You want to build some muscle to your body, add some size to your body, go heavier on the weights. So that's what an ectomorph is. So if you identify with an ectomorph, even if you are a combination of 2 others, if your dominant percentage is an ectomorph, that's what you should follow. A whole foods diet, whether you're vegan or vegetarian, it does not matter. If you like to eat meat, it does not matter. Focus on clean foods and higher volumes when it comes to carbohydrates. So, anybody an ectomorph? I want to see some hands. Who's an ectomorph? Nobody? Okay. Well, let me know. I know sometimes it's delayed. Endomorphs. The reason why I'm starting off with endomorphs than the mesomorph, because they tend to say okay, Jamie's an ectomorph. The reason why I tend to say the mesomorph, endomorph second, because most people identify with an endomorph. They tend to be bottom heavy, and that's an irritation even for a mesomorph, because some people are mesomorphs and they got a lot of body fat up and lower. But I'm going for the endomorph first because people identify with it, even though second they say mesomorph. So who cares? Let's work with the endomorph. So endomorphs, best diet for you. Mind you, I'm going to simplify this. The link down below, you need either a ketogenic diet or a low carb diet. Those are your only 2. That's it. That's the simplest way I can say it. The reason why is because insulin, high carb foods, the body type, it works better if you're on the higher end of your fats and the lower end on your carbohydrates. So those 2 diet styles, ketogenic or low carb, can you do those, can you do those diet styles continuously throughout your life? It depends on you. You have to try it first to see how it makes you feel. If it makes you feel like crap, if you don't feel good doing it, and I'm not talking about the first week or the first 2 weeks, you stick it out to be sure first. And if you're at that 3rd week and it's just not working for you, then that means that diet does not work for you. So that means switch to a different type of diet or up your carbs a little bit more, or lower your fats a little bit more. But a keto or a low carb diet works best for a higher percentage endomorph. Whether you 100% or 65% more of whatever, that's your best diet, your best idea to go for. I have links to programs that you can follow if you don't know exactly how or what to eat when it comes to it and staying clean in your eating. You can check those links down below. But that's the best diet for an endomorph. 2 other tips I wanted to mention. Intermittent fasting works really good for an endomorph. Intermittent fasting works for everybody, honestly, because it's just based off timing of when you eat. But I have heard, researched, and seen through a lot of YouTube videos, I don't know how much you guys do, but I've heard and seen from a lot that intermittent fasting, that 8-hour window of eating and stopping at eating at 6 or 8 works tremendous for an endomorph. Got it? So it still keeps you balanced in your insulin levels. You're lower on the carbs, but you're still getting the carbs that you need because you do build muscle pretty easily. So, but the idea is trying to stay a little bit trimmer, so you're trying to keep the excess body fat from creeping up on you. So my other tip is more cardio, preferably high intensity interval training. So we got it. So simplifying it. Endomorph, try, and I'm saying try, a ketogenic diet or a low carb diet. Look down below for those programs. Stay with the whole foods. Try intermittent fasting with that. And then more cardio, preferably high intensity interval training. Got it. Endomorphs, I saw some endomorph hands go up. I saw eye candy. She said, yep, V, Amber. Yes. Okay. So, last but not least, a lot of people identify with mesomorph. For most, that tends to be the second for an endomorph. So, for mesomorph, the simplest way I can tell you is any diet works except for, and I'm only saying except for keto, because it's higher on the fats. And anything that, yeah, that's right, because it's higher on the fats. So if you are a mesomorph, the simplest way I can explain this to you of what diet style works for you is balance. You need to have the same amount of protein, carbohydrates, and fats, period. Our body, mesomorphs, work off balance. Balance your diet. So all diet styles work for a mesomorph, except, and I'm saying except in my opinion, from my own experience, from looking and kind of like pulling things together, from researching other people's experience, when you put it all together, balance is the key. It's what's going to work. And keto is too high on the fat intake. That's not always the best for a mesomorph's body type, because we also need balance in cardio and in weight training. So because you need balance in that, most of the time a mesomorph body type, they mentally think, if I'm not working hard, this ain't working for me. I need to sweat. If you feel you need to sweat, guess what? You also need to feel you need carbs too. Carbs are necessary for a mesomorph body type. It is a part of our energy and mental function. That's true for everybody. However, when we're talking about losing weight and something that's a little bit more sustainable, for an endomorph, too much carbohydrates causes excess body fat. So you know that. That's the simplest way to say it. For a mesomorph, too much carbohydrates causes excess body fat as well. But we need it because we need high energy, because we have muscle to fat ratio working there. So the simplest way I can say it is you look down below, you need carbs. So balance your diet out. Two types, intermittent fasting and clean eating is perfect for mesomorph, or you can try carb cycling. That's a new program I just put down. It's linked down below. Carb cycling is an example of, you have your high days of carbs that you intake, and you have your low days and moderate days of carbs, or no days, we'll say it. So I'll give you an example of how I would do a carb cycling type of a program. Leg day, I need high carbs. Leg day takes a lot of energy, because I'm also going to be doing cardio as well, because for a mesomorph, we need to do a balance of both weight training and cardio. So most of the cases, it's always been recommended to a mesomorph and sometimes an endomorph that you should do your weight training and then do your cardio after. Or you can do your cardio before, weight training in the center, and then finish off with cardio again. So there has to be a balance. And anytime I'm doing lower body days, I probably have 3 times more carbohydrates than I typically would on a day that I'm not doing legs. A day like if I'm doing upper body training and it's not back, I'm going to have moderate to low carbs. If I'm not working out at all, it makes sense for me to just choose not to have any carbohydrates that day. So that's an example of what I mean by carb cycling. You're cycling your carbs based off your workouts. So that helps for people who are mesomorph, higher in percentage, and they're trying to lose weight, meaning that they've done everything else, keeping a balanced diet. They, you know, we ain't even talking about macros and all of that. That's on the other spectrum. I want to simplify it for you. Carb cycling is another way to kind of play around with macros without even thinking about numbers. You just use your hands. So that's what I have. So I want to show you guys what that plan looks like. Who's mesomorph? How many mesomorphs are out there? Oh, that's a good question. I'm going to start getting into questions really quickly. So I'll swing back through all of it. Yep, so I'm going to answer that too. So these programs are already on. What in the world was that? Oh. It went back to my old thing. Oh. There you go. There's programs already on there. So the carb cycling one is the one that I kind of want to show you guys what it looks like. So this is the carb cycling program. This is what it looks like on the site. And I want you guys to kind of get an idea that the table of contents, but it's giving you a description and it's helping you figure out when are your high and low days when it comes to carbohydrates. So when you purchase this program, it's going to tell you exactly what's the best time or best way, or it kind of gives you an example of when your high and low carbs or no carb days would be, or your moderate. But keep in mind, you still need balance. So, and then it also gives you grocery list. You see that? Gives you a grocery list, and it gives you a meal plan. So it gives you a meal plan, and it gives you a meal plan based off 3 types: low carb, moderate carb, high carb, and it gives you the amount that you need. So whether you need a cup or half a cup or a handful or half a handful, it tells you in carb cycling. So carb cycling is really good for mesomorph body types. So let's recap, and then I need to answer questions. Ectomorph, more carbs, stick with with whole foods, high volumes of whole foods. Sorry, you got to eat more. Less cardio, more weight training, preferably heavy weight training. Tomorrow's Wednesday. I'll have a video out for weight training. Trying to get videos out every day if I possibly can. But endomorph, keto or low carb works for you. Whole foods diet, period. Intermittent fasting. Find your feeding window. It's totally up to you. There's different styles of intermittent fasting. There's a program down that describes all of those styles. You can check that out. But intermittent fasting timing window works well for you when it comes to insulin, insulin balancing for that. More cardio, preferably HIIT. Circuit training as well. Circuit training is an example of cardio with weights. So look at circuit training in that style. Mesomorphs, all the diet styles work for you. Typically, if you're trying to lose weight, instead of doing keto, do carb cycling. So you get where I'm going with it. So if you're trying to lose weight as a mesomorph, instead of doing low carb or keto, do carb cycling, because remember, your body type needs balance, so it needs carbs, period. Whole foods diet, that's for everybody. Stick with it. Keep that diet balanced. Balance in cardio and weight training. So balance your lifestyle out. Balance how you eat out. That's for the mesomorph. Now I have some tips that I want to mention because I saw questions and I wanted to get to it. But one of the tips I wanted to make sure of, once you guys, if you know your body type, that's good. If you know the percentage of where you are in your body type, that's also good. What you need to focus on is the one that you are the highest percentage in. So if you're higher in mesomorph than you are in ecto, focus on mesomorph. If you are higher in endomorph than you are in mesomorph, focus on endomorph. Whatever percentage you are highest in, focus on that. It's easier that way. When you focus on that, now you can see, let your body tell you what it needs. You can see if that's what works for you. You will see the progress, but you've got to give yourself 30 days to let your body feel the response from what you're doing to it. So work it out, but stick to it for 30 days. So pick the one that you're the highest percentage on. Focus on that one. If you are dealing with these things, yeah, 50-50, cool. So if you are dealing with these things, if you are dealing with a lot of inflammation, feeling bloated more than you necessarily want to feel, and we're not talking about periods, you're going to feel that, nothing we can do about it. You see my frustration on that, but we're not talking about periods. If you are feeling like you are bloated all the time, inflamed, sluggish, slow, you might need a detox. That's what you're going to need. So I have programs on the site for that as well. So I have that linked down below. But there are some programs that you can try. So there's one that is called Sugar Detox Plan for Rapid Fat Loss. So you might have a problem with eating too many refined sugars, processed foods, candy, chips, pop. You need to detox yourself from that. That takes some time. So there is a plan on that, period. I have a plan on it. Monday to what you should eat, how much of it you should eat, so it can kind of pull you away from the cravings that you can possibly have from just, unfortunately, eating the wrong way for a long time. Then I also have a smoothie, plant-based detox, and I also have a plant-based meal plan. So for a smoothie detox, you can follow that for about 21 days if you feel you need that. It's all on fruits and vegetables. You need it. That helps with your digestive system. You get a little bit more fiber into your body because you may be inflamed or bloated because your intestines and everything is just not clean, or it's irritable from just stuff that you're putting in it that you probably need a rest from, which I'm going to say protein and refined sugars. So go for a plant-based diet. And then there's a plant-based meal plan for vegans and vegetarians. This is really just a program that just has options of different meal plans that you can do, or meals that you can do. So it gives you the ingredients and options that you can have. So it has up to 6 options of meals for breakfast, lunch, dinner, snacks. You choose how you want to eat it based off which body type that you are. So if you feel you need a rest from protein, that is good. Totally fine. You want to go back to meat, you can do that after a period of time. But that can kind of help if you're feeling like you are just sluggish and you feel heavy and you feel bloated all the time. Sometimes you might just need a little bit of a break from protein, especially if you eat a lot of meat. And a lot of heavy meat that has a lot of fat in it, like bacon and, you know, chicken legs as opposed to chicken breasts and things like that. So you might need a break from that. I'm not saying you need to be vegan or vegetarian. I mean, and not that I see anything wrong with being those. I don't see anything wrong with you eating whatever the heck you want to eat. So that's how I feel about it. Or you may need a break from all of the processed foods and refined sugars. Your body has been reacting to that for a long time, especially if you feel inflamed and bloated a lot. Sugar does that to your body. So processed foods, leave them alone, including pasta. If you want some pasta, Have spaghetti squash. Vanessa made some spaghetti squash in the group, and that was really, really good. I did it too, but I didn't even post the video. I should have posted the picture of it. I probably will, because I'm going to do it again. But try to stick with spaghetti squash. So I'm going to get into questions now. So I'm going to look through first to see if anybody asked me earlier any questions. Okay. Yeah, I'm just looking for like question marks and long comments. Okay. Oh, Barilla makes spinach spaghetti noodles. I'm making that comment because someone just put that comment on there, so I think that's a good idea. When I'm saying please, whole foods, stick with whole foods. Spaghetti and pasta and all of that stuff originally came from spaghetti squash, and spaghetti squash is a vegetable. It's a carb. It's more of a fibrous carb, so keep that in mind. You have as much of that as you want without any problems. The endomorphs, please be very careful with your carb intake. Know the difference between your fibrous carbs and your active carbs. Potatoes, rice, oatmeal, pasta, those are active carbs. They turn into insulin sugar pretty fast for you, so keep that in mind. For a mesomorph, those type of carbohydrates are best around your heavy workouts or around your workouts, so keep that in mind. I'm looking for questions. I'm here. Yes, Latanya, I see your question. Said to take the body test as if you were younger. A lot of times that's the easiest way to kind of know exactly what your body type is if you can remember the way you looked when you were younger, because at that time your metabolism honestly was nice and balanced and fast, and compare it to where you are now, whether you're overweight or not. It doesn't matter, but just look at where you hold body fat. Body fat for an ectomorph, it's very hard to find. It's also very hard for them to find muscle. But more than likely, if they feel like their body is not the way it should be, it's probably because their waistline is heavier. So that has a lot to do with diet. It's what they're eating, but their metabolism is going to always be fast. So they have to eat high volumes in order to build the muscle to tone out. For an ectomorph, belly, lower body, upper body is small. You know where your body weight comes from. Excess body weight comes from if you are overweight. Mesomorph, like me, you've seen my pictures. I usually am very top heavy. Mesomorphs also can be top and bottom heavy if they're an hourglass body type. So, and they tend to be even meso or meso-endo. They tend to be even. But I'm 75% mesomorph and I'm 25% endomorph. So that to me is, I'm just mesomorph. But because I'm older, I know that has something to do with it. Oh, good one. So combinations. Remember, I mentioned you want to go for, if you are a combination of 2 or more, say you're a combination of all 3, because I had 0 in the ecto, which that's kind of funny to me, but if you're a combination of more than 1, focus on the one you have the highest percentage in. So make sure you know that. Just making sure I'm responding to questions. And then I'm going to make this comment because I actually should pull it out. Latrice, because you're 50-50, focus on which one did it tell you first, meso or endo? I know it's 50-50, but what are you 50-50 of? Because that helps me No, because a meso-ecto 50-50 is different from a meso-endo 50-50. Focus on meso. And from your pictures, definitely focus on meso because your back was defined. She knows what I'm talking about. You're definitely, yeah, focus on meso. So start there. Because whatever you're doing now is showing in your upper body. And a mesomorph tends to lean out fastest in their upper body and lower body first before their waistline even makes a freaking change. Trust me, I know. So if you're 50-50 meso-endo, focus on the meso. Because keep in mind, those two body types gain muscle very easily, but only one of them, it takes a little time for them to lose fat, you know. Someone, eye candy, mentioned turmeric. Turmeric helps with inflammation. So, someone a while back asked about multivitamins. I stopped taking multivitamins almost 2 years ago. I think sometime like 2017, I stopped taking a lot of supplementations. I kept up with my protein powders and BCAAs, but as far as like multivitamins, I stopped taking them. Listening and doing some research on YouTube, there's a guy, oh, I can't remember his name, other than Dr. Eric Bird, but there's a guy that's on six-pack shortcuts or something like that. He was talking about multivitamins. Peanuts, yes, they are good for endomorphs because they're higher in protein and fat. Good question. But he was talking about multivitamins and how certain ingredients in these multivitamins cancel out the others, so it's better to just get what you're deficient in. So if you're deficient in vitamin D or C or B12 or whatever, it's better to just get that particular vitamin that you need. But you should be getting this from your whole foods, your fruits and vegetables. So if you're deficient in some things, it's probably because you are not, or you're not eating, or you're withholding certain foods from your diet. So if you are an endomorph, I still would not suggest that you take fruits out of your diet. Keep in mind, you just need to have a higher amount of fat or lower the amount of carbohydrates, because fruits is a carb. Lower the amount of it that you eat. It's better to focus on non-high glycemic fruits. Research it, find it for yourself. But I don't agree with taking out fruits now. I don't. Not after doing some research from somebody yelling at me like, "Can you eat bananas?" I'm like, yeah, she might be right. Let me go back and they're right. But turmeric is a good anti-inflammatory. So I do have this at least once or twice a day. So if you're dealing with that. What about taking fat burners? Good question. Fat burners, if you are a ectomorph, you don't need a damn fat burner. Endomorphs, mesomorphs, fat burners do help. They do help. But it's a waste of time taking it if you aren't very sure about your diet. So, I'll give you something that is of good cost. Or do I still take it? Oh, yes. I'm about to say that, and then I'll show you this fat burner. So eye candy is giving me some good... Eye candy, I need to know if you're in the group, because I might be calling you eye candy, but you're probably somebody I talk to all the time in the group. Low sodium. Ladies, endomorphs and mesomorphs, low sodium. Well, that's low sodium for most body types, but don't be afraid of it, but then don't overdo it either with sodium. So like everything in moderation. But let's get back to fat burners. This is one that I have. I've tried all types of fat burners. Mesomorphs tend to be fine with fat burners. We tend to like coffee a lot. We tend to work very well with pre-workouts. So it all depends. But fat burners work pretty good. But they work best when your diet is intact. If you got that diet intact and you're on it 24/7, that fat burner is going to help. Only thing the fat burner does is give you the energy that you need in order to get through your workouts or through your day, or to burn more excess body fat from a previous crazy workout you did the day before. So that's what fat burners do. They just help speed up your metabolism along with your diet and your training. So if you want to take a fat burner, I'm not telling you you shouldn't. I'm not saying that it's bad for everybody, because that's not true. You just have to make sure you find one that works good for you. If it makes you feel a certain way and you're not comfortable with that feeling, stop taking it and find another one. Everything is trial and error when it comes to supplementation, so keep that in mind. I can prescribe things to you, but I can't say that they will work specifically for you, so you have to put in the work to find out for yourself. Oh yes, thanks Jamie for bringing that up. I did NINADETOX. So once we're done, yep, I actually have another 5 minutes. Once we're done, I'm going to link that down below. She just had a baby, so, but NINADETOX is a company, I won't say a company, but it's owned by a black woman. And I tried the NINADETOX because there was another YouTuber that I saw had lost a lot of weight at that time. And I said, well, I'll try it and see how it works for me. And it just worked wonders. But it had detoxing and fat burners and like natural supplements and things like that. There's also links down below for weight loss products that are on my website that you can purchase as well. There's the Women's Total Balance. I have 2 clients that said they have lost some weight just off the Women's Total Balance. So that balances out your hormonal life, your hormonal issues. Because sometimes weight gain comes from hormonal imbalances. As we get older, that happens. So 2 of my clients, they mentioned they have lost already 10 pounds off using that. And it's CBD, it's nano enhanced. CBD is infused with it with other natural ingredients and essential oils and things like that. It also includes like turmeric and peppermint oil and all of these other ingredients to help with anti-aging. And then there's the Weight Loss Extreme that should be back on the market. There's a few clients that have purchased that and they've seen some results using that too. That's also nano enhanced, CBD infused. If you don't know what I mean with CBD and how that works, you can definitely go to the link down below. It gives you some videos so you'll understand how it works in the body. But that helps with weight loss. Helps with cravings. It helps burn fat. If you don't want to use a fat burner that has stimulants in it, you can try the Extreme weight loss, and that doesn't have stimulants in it. It has MCT oil, it has peppermint oil, it has a couple of things in it that's natural. So that's what I'm going for. So you can try those things if you're looking for something to supplement what you're doing. And then protein, and then I'm going to leave it at that. I prefer me, and I'm saying this because this might be some other people's issue too. If you're lactose, do you mean did I use Nina NDA, ND2? Oh, I did the 30-day, what was it, the 30-day sample, but the ND2s I know for a fact are the fat burners. So I did it 30 days, so it included ND1s through 4s at that time. This is almost 6 years ago. But the ND2s I know are natural fat burners. So try that. If you go to her you can find her on Instagram, and I'll remember to put the link down below. But back to protein, if you are lactose intolerant, more than likely you cannot have a protein powder that is whey isolate, or say whey in it, or say milk protein, or you probably can't have regular protein powder. So you need to try some new ways to add protein into your diet. So go for plant-based protein. I like this one because it tastes good. What you need to know about plant-based protein powders is they are gritty in their texture. They taste good, but you're going to feel like it's going to feel like chalk a little bit. If you're doing it in a smoothie, you're going to notice the texture is a little bit different. And that means the grittier it is, unfortunately, the more natural the protein is, the more plant-based it is. She didn't like it. So that's some warning that I need to make known to you guys with this protein. I like the taste, but I have to be honest, there's things that I add into it that makes it taste a lot better. There's fruits that I add into it. I use coconut milk. Sometimes I use a creamer and some water, and that makes it taste like really, really good. So find ways to add things to make it taste a little bit good. If you want to use a natural sweetener, I would say try honey, but that's one way you can do it. And then there are other things. I don't have any more of it, but one of my clients talked about hemp seeds and hemp, you know, that helps with more protein and fiber. So there's hemp proteins out there. Try those. That helps. But if you are lactose intolerant and you need to find a way to get more protein into your diet, and you know the easiest way you can do this is with protein shakes, and I'm speaking specifically to ectos and mesomorphs, try plant-based. So try plant-based. Pea protein is good. Yes, yes, yes. Pea protein, if you have a place called Tropical Smoothie Cafe in your area, they're really good on those pea proteins and those plant-based proteins in their smoothies. So I'm going to be doing a video on places that you can go and eat out when you forget your meals at home or you are an entrepreneur and you need to get out of the house and you like forget, you know, you can't take your food to another place. You just need to get out of the house. I'll do a video on that as well. So my time is pretty much up, guys. So make sure you go back through the video to learn what best diet styles work for your body type. Keep in mind, focus on the one you're the highest in first and go from there. Stick to it as best you can for 30 days. And this time we're kind of playing around with what's working with us. So are you going to lose weight in these 30 days? More than likely, yes, you will. But you have to also understand this is a feedback moment too. So I'm not going to stop after 30 days. I'm going to keep going and teach you what to do as we go along. So make sure you go back through the video, know what works for you. And if you have not gotten into the 30-day challenge, sent your pictures or anything, you still have time. I'll make sure you get into the group. The group is live. They're on fire right now, so I gotta get this video up to show them how to use this app. And I will see you guys tomorrow. Yeah, I will see you guys tomorrow. It won't be live though, but I'll see you guys tomorrow. And I hope this helps. So thumbs this video up so that everybody can get a chance to hear this and see what works for them and get to the site and learn some things that'll help them with their own life. I love this idea of doing it this way. So thank you guys for suggesting it, and I'm listening. Have a beautiful, beautiful day. I know some of y'all got sunshine. Don't let that fool you. It's just bright outside. That sun ain't out for real. So